In the days when the world was still young and the dust of creation had not yet settled, there walked among men one who saw beyond the veil of heaven. His name was Enoch, a man whose footsteps echoed between earth and eternity. While others lived for the world they could see, Enoch lived for the world unseen. And because of that, heaven itself began to take notice. He wasn't born into power or legend. He was born into a world that was slowly forgetting its maker. The children of Adam had grown restless. Knowledge had multiplied, but wisdom had withered. They built cities, traded treasures, and sought dominion over one another. But Enoch walked apart, not out of pride, but out of longing. Each night he lifted his eyes to the heavens and whispered to the one who had shaped the stars. And in time, heaven answered. One night, the wind carried a voice not of this earth. "Enoch," it said, "you have found favor. Walk with me." And in that moment, he was taken. The earth faded, and Enoch was lifted into the firmament, beyond the clouds, beyond the sun, into a realm of radiant fire and perfect order. There he saw beings of light, the watchers, angels set to guide the rising generations of mankind. They were glorious beyond imagination, burning with knowledge, yet bound by obedience. But even in heaven, pride had begun to stir. For among those angels were some who looked upon the earth and desired it. They saw the daughters of men, their beauty, their vitality, their mortal freedom, and something forbidden awakened in them, a longing to rule rather than serve. And so a plan was whispered among them, led by their chief Semyaza and the mighty Azazel, who taught the arts of war and vanity. They would descend, take mortal wives, and give mankind the secrets of heaven. And so they fell, not cast down, but by their own choice. 1,000 stars dimmed as the watchers abandoned their posts and entered the world of men. When they landed upon Mount Hermon, the earth trembled. There they bound themselves by an oath, to share their knowledge, whatever the cost. They taught the forging of metal, the making of weapons, the mixing of colors for adornment, and the reading of signs in the sky. They gave mankind eyes to see beyond what they were ready to understand. And from their union came the Nephilim, giants of great strength and violence, whose hearts were empty of mercy. The earth, once pure, was filled with corruption. Enoch, now a prophet among men, looked upon this chaos and wept. The rivers ran red with blood, and the cries of the innocent reached the throne of heaven. The Most High, in sorrow, called again to Enoch. "Rise," the voice said, "for the earth groans beneath the weight of knowledge stolen from heaven." And Enoch was lifted once more. He was carried through the layers of the sky, shown the paths of the stars, the prisons of the fallen, and the halls of light where the faithful waited. In awe he beheld the throne, a fire brighter than the sun, surrounded by countless hosts who bowed without ceasing. And from that glory came a command, "Go, Enoch, and speak to the watchers who have defiled themselves. Tell them their judgment is sealed." When Enoch descended, he found the watchers trembling. They begged him to intercede, to plead for their forgiveness. But Enoch had seen the balance of heaven. He knew what was done could not be undone. "You were meant to guide," he said, "not to corrupt. You were made to lift, not to rule. The secrets of heaven are not yours to sell." And he turned away, knowing mercy had passed them by. Soon the skies darkened. The Nephilim, once praised as heroes, devoured the world they had conquered. And so the Most High decreed a cleansing, not of vengeance, but of renewal. Waters would rise, and the earth would remember who its maker was. But before that day, Enoch vanished from among men. Scripture would later say, Enoch walked with God and was not, for God took him. He was the bridge between the divine and the mortal, the witness of both grace and judgment. Legends say he was transformed, no longer bound by flesh, and recorded the mysteries he had seen in 7 heavenly books. He wrote of the stars and their courses, of the angels and their ranks, of the souls of the righteous and the fate of the fallen. And then he was gone, a whisper in the wind. But his warning remains. The story of Enoch is not just about angels and giants. It is about the danger of knowledge without wisdom, of power without humility. Every age has its own watchers, those who trade truth for control. And every age forgets until the earth trembles again. Enoch's message is as clear now as it was in the dawn of time. There are things heaven guards not out of cruelty, but out of mercy. And there is a line between enlightenment and arrogance, a line even angels dared to cross. Yet amid the darkness, hope still burns. Because for every fall, there is one who walks with God. The greatest knowledge is not how high we can climb, but how deeply we understand who made us. And somewhere, beyond the stars, the man who walked with God still watches. A reminder that even in the darkest times, heaven still speaks, if we choose to listen. If you enjoyed this journey beyond creation, leave a like, share this story, and subscribe for more divine mysteries and ancient truths waiting to be revealed. Because every story begins beyond creation.